I'm gonna be real with you guys, I don't know how I feel about this. This is a tweet from David Pagnotta from the 4th period. This is just from a few minutes ago. Nothing imminent by any stretch, but told that some teams have Alex Edler on their radar for later in the season. I'm not going to be shocked if the Pittsburgh Penguins are among them. Edler has a full no-trade clause in the last year of his deal, which is a $5 million cap hit. He'll have a decision to make later on this season. Now, I just saw this tweet pop up on my timeline here on Twitter, and automatically my immediate response was, no, Alex Edler, nostalgia, 2011, one of the last 2 players from that team that is still on the Canucks, no. But rationally speaking, trying to look at this from a pure analytical point of view, this honestly isn't really surprising, nor do I believe that this is bad. Alexander Edler has been a rock on the Canucks D-line for a few years now. There was a time where he was highly touted as an elite top 2 defender in the making. Of course, I don't know if any Vancouver Canucks fans are sitting here thinking of Edler like that, but Edler has been a player who has consistently been on our team, and he's consistently been a key part of the team as we have succeeded throughout these past few years. Edler is a guy who isn't necessarily the best at what he does, but he's certainly not bad at it. I think a lot of people would agree with that. But Alexander Edler is 32 right now and on the last year of his contract, which begs the question, is there a chance, like this tweet brings up, that some playoff teams would be out there looking for him in a playoff push? Obviously, I think the answer is yes, the possibility does exist, and especially with Pittsburgh, I think it could be a little bit of a compliment to the system that they have over there. But I think a lot of Vancouver Canucks fans are just thinking, okay, that's all cool, Edler, trade, no move clause, he's gonna waive it, $5 million, 1 year left off the books. What do we get back? And I think that's the big question that everybody wants to know. What exactly is the trade value for Alexander Edler? Now, a lot of people, when they think about a guy like Chris Tanev, for example, they think, okay, a first, a late first, maybe a good prospect, a second plus, maybe something along those lines. The thing is, I don't necessarily know if Edler is at that level, if he gets more, or if he gets less, because Chris Tanev is worth a lot to the Vancouver Canucks. I think that's obvious. Canucks fans love Tanev, and they value him to a great extent. The only thing is, though, Tanev to the Canucks is not the same as Tanev to other playoff teams. But the thing is, for Alexander Edler, things are a little bit different. Edler hasn't been plagued by injuries like Tanev has. Edler has more of an offensive upside than Tanev. Tanev is right-handed while Edler is left-handed, which gives the edge to Chris Tanev a little bit. The thing with Edler is, I don't necessarily know if I could even label a significantly good return. Obviously, a return for a player like Edler would involve maybe a prospect, a top 9, top 6 D-man prospect, projectedly speaking. Maybe we could get a second and a third for Alexander Edler. I don't know if I'm willing to push it into that first round pick category unless we're talking about a team that's absolutely stacked and is going to go far into the playoffs. Because even with second round picks, we've seen it in the past few years, the Vancouver Canucks have been lucky cashing in on their seconds. Jet Wu, Gadjevich, Cole Lind. The second round pick is valuable, people, which is why I don't think that Edler would necessarily be worth a first and not a second, if not just a second and a third. So, honestly, if Edler can receive a pick or two, regardless of where that pick is, as long as it's in the first 3 or 4 rounds, I'd be good with that. A fourth and a third might be a little bit of an understatement, to be honest, but if we can get ourselves like 2/3, get ourselves a second and a third, get ourselves a second that's a little bit high, get ourselves a late first, get ourselves a middle 6 or a top 6 D-man prospect, I think that's a good return for Edler. Because this is not me trying to say that Edler is a bad player, but you gotta take a look at the circumstances. Edler is in 1 year left of his deal. Edler is at a $5 million cap hit with a no-move clause. He's got himself all the opportunities to do whatever it is he wants after this contract year. He could come back to Vancouver if he wanted. So, I think that diminishes his value, obviously, and it's because of that I don't necessarily think that Edler getting traded for anything less than a first is necessarily bad. Even with Thomas Vanek, we got back Jokinen and Mott. Jokinen is not even on the team anymore, and Mott is honestly pretty darn good. I like that return in Tyler Mott. Would you say it's the same as a few months worth of Thomas Vanek? You could say that yourself, but I personally say at this point in time, yeah, probably. So, what do you guys think the value is here? 1 year left. Assumably, a few months left of Alexander Edler, assuming he doesn't re-sign with a new team, and assuming that he gets traded, let's say, at the deadline. What's he worth? Do we get a first-round pick? I don't know, to be honest. I'd be saying that a second would be good for sure, but there's no guarantee that we'll get anything else beyond that. Maybe we just get another young guy like Vanek did? Who knows? The overall arcing premise on this, though, is that Edler could possibly be trade bait come trade deadline time. And it's because he's a guy who's 32 years old, he's had a lot of experience as a Vancouver veteran D-man, he's the all-time leader in Canucks defenseman points and games played, I'm pretty sure. He's just been an ace on the Vancouver blue line. But if this comes down to a trade, where we get assets for our future, I'd honestly be okay with that. What do you guys think? What's the return? Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Plushing the short saying gaming, and bye.